Good day and welcome to a new video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.
Hello, and today you're joined by just me. So yeah, I'll just be like chatting here as I normally do. As I say, sometimes it's just me. Other times it's with artists from around the world and all sort of artists. And lately we've had some pretty interesting artists in. We had a guy from France about 2 weeks ago now, and we also had last week we had a cool artist I chat with as well. So yeah, we're being pretty busy. For me, I've been pretty busy working on pieces. I'm working on this book at the moment, as I mentioned. So this is the last part of page 10. So I still break them up into parts. So I have part 1, 2 and 3 usually. I did used to only do no more than 2 parts, but now that I'm in full-time work, that's a little bit harder to actually keep up with. Yeah, it's hard to keep up with, especially with the time schedule and things going on. It can be very challenging, so I'm just split it down the middle. I decided to make these videos go a little bit longer, and it doesn't hurt you too much. You still get to hear from artists, you still get to get along with these pieces. I'm not making 26 parts of this piece being created. I'm just creating as I do, and you're still seeing the final product. And also, hearing artists from around the world come in and talk to me. So last week I had a character artist, and he was really good to talk to, especially because now I've been learning a bit of character, which is great. I've been learning a bit of that, which has fed into some of my character art stuff. Definitely with this character it's helped. To, like I said in the video, to make him pose like he's actually thinking and things like that. It's helpful to learn a bit of character. It is a hard word to say sometimes, and if you're new to this channel, to this Twitch site, welcome. I am a YouTuber kind of video creator. I create 2 videos a week. So those 2 weeks I got a weekly video that I create, and I also have these ones on the weekends, NZD, because I'm from New Zealand. On the weekend sometime, usually I'll have a stream like this pop up. I also do Twitch streams, and I usually do Twitch streams on a Tuesday night, at some point, usually between 8 and 9 NZD time now on Twitch. So I do that a bit now. I've been doing it for the last 3 or 4 weeks. Been doing Tuesdays for 3 or 4 weeks. Somewhere between 8 and I finish by 10 PM at the latest. And I usually don't stream for more than 45 minutes. Around about, that's usually my stream time. Usually after that I start getting a bit edgy, it starts getting a bit boring, and or I may want to do something else. That's kind of my limit, is 45 minutes. I chat with Neil Brooks about this. She she can keep streaming on and for hours on end, which is awesome. She's great to have chatted to about that. That she can keep on going, keep on streaming and painting. It's really cool that you can do that. For me, I just get a bit over it after 45 minutes. I lose about things to chat about, I guess, and I just want to do something else. Or just want to do my own thing without so many eyes watching, per se, I guess, kind of a thing, It's definitely it's less painful. it's, you know, it's less daunting when you're not, like, when you're just painting or drawing without, like, recording yourself, because I'm constantly, like, recording myself paint, for these videos that happen. So, you know, it's good to every now and again have a drawing or a painting that isn't, like, recorded, which is great. You know, I don't have to push the record button and start painting and stop it when I've, like, stopped what I was doing there, and then maybe have a think or a break or something, and then go back and start recording again. You know, that whole process always keeps on happening, you know. Yeah, anywho, yeah, lately, so I've been talking about schedule a few times on my YouTube channel. It's something I bring up because I do think that schedules are really great to get things done. And, you know, lately I've been all over the place again, but I'm still getting stuff done. You know, I feel like I'm less stressed out now because I've got, like, a couple of weeks of videos there now. So I'm less like, oh, I need to do work then, I need to do work between now. It's less stressful now, so I can take a little bit of time here and there to relax. But, you know, next week or the week after, I'll start feeling it again, where I do need to keep creating content, and things like that. It's been all good, you know, keeping up with this content. Like I said, I've been having to do the whole 3 parts, you know, break this piece up into 3 videos, that I have, you know, talks with artists from around the world and things like that. So, you know, with that, it's been good to have that to fall back on, so that I can, you know, when I finish a piece, I've got pretty much 3 videos there, sussed, and, you know, I only have to finish a piece every 3 weeks. I'd like to get back to finishing a piece every 2 weeks, which would be nice. But yeah, it just depends on the piece, because some pieces, in this book especially, there's some parts of this book that have much more going on than, say, this page here has not much going on. One character, and background, and a bit of posing and things like that. So there's not a lot going on here. Most of it's just detailing and things like that. I don't have, like, 4 characters I'm dealing with. I don't have scaling, not too much scaling. There's a little bit of scaling there, but, you know, there's not a lot going on that, you know, it will take me like a month to finish, kind of a thing. So that's good. There are pages that do take a little bit more, and yeah, I'm figuring things out as I go along my book. I'm on page 10, as I said. I'm actually on page 11, I think. This is the last part to page 10. You'll see the final at the end, so that's really cool. You can, yeah, you can flick through from part 1 to part 3. At the moment on my YouTube channel, I make playlists usually of the actual parts together, and because now I'm doing 2 videos a week, it really kind of needs it if you want to, you know, watch how I started the piece, how I finished the piece, and you know, get to the end of it all. You know, if you're interested in that kind of thing, to see me actually paint and create, and, you know, or if you're more interested in the talking and things like that, but you do like to see a little bit of painting, you can just, you know, keep up with each episode, you know. Yeah, so YouTube, it's been going good lately. I've had this last couple of months, 2-3 months, I've had a bit more watch time than I usually have, you know, little bit more watch time than I usually am used to, you know. Usually it's just a couple of views here and there, and, you know, not too much watch time. There's a little bit that happens, but not like a lot. But lately it's been a little bit more watch time, which has been awesome. That means you guys are actually either watching quite a bit of the videos that I've been putting out, which has been awesome. You know, it's been great to see you guys interact as well. Whether you're interacting down below in the comment section, or you're interacting with a like, or, you know, subscribing to my channel, is really awesome to see, you know, it grow. It's such a challenging process because, you know, it's a social media, and, you know, if you pour things into different social medias, sometimes you just like pour it into all these different social medias, or you pour it into a certain social media, and you expect it to grow, or you expect people to actually react to it, and you don't know what's wrong. You know, you get a bit frustrated if you keep pouring it into nothing coming out of it, kind of a thing. But it is obviously a thing that if you pour more into it, you get more out. It just takes a bit of time, patience with it. Yeah. So a couple of things that I do mention on my some of my weekly tips is like some of the mistakes I go through. One here, you can see me just starting to create the arm there. So, you know, that's when my partner had a look at my piece, and she thought, you know, it kind of needed a little bit more to it, to actually, you know, complete the pose. So in the end I decided, oh yeah, he needs, you know, to actually hold his head, you know, like he's thinking a bit more, so you kind of need to see his other arm, to kind of finish that pose off. So yeah, in the end you can see me, I've just edited the arm there, which I feel has, you know, finished off that kind of pose. And sometimes it's just those little things, you know, those little things that you miss, that can really help a piece. And it's something that I like to mention in these videos, and also in, you know, the weekly tips videos, is some of these things that I pick up I'd like to share with you guys. Like one issue that I had with one of my pieces was about scaling. So it's the kind of thing where, you know, you can see my mistakes, and you guys can learn from it as well. You know, we're always constantly making mistakes, and that's the thing, you know, when we're humans, we're going to make mistakes in our illustration work. Even if you're like a master, you know, at illustrating, you know, you'll slip up. Either you're having a bad day, or you just forget something. You know, you might have been doing this for 50 years, and you've just forgotten this little thing, and, you know, you always got to be on your game. And every now and again there's going to be a little slip up that happens, and yeah, there's a little mistake. Like for instance, I did one about scaling, when clearly one character was actually too big or something like that, so I had to fix up that scaling. And that's what's good with having someone else to look at your piece, you know, because they might see it. It might be obvious, it might not be obvious, mistakes that you see, and yeah, you just gotta keep at it, and yeah, eventually, you know, these things happen. Yeah, so this has been a fun story so far to create. I'm still probably 3 pages off now. It's been a long journey so far with creating this book. Yeah, and I just can't wait to see the next pages. The next pages are kind of the conclusion, the finishing of the story, and for me, the most exciting pages in this book, per se. I mean, there has been some really cool, exciting pages, but these are the ones that I feel are going to be, for me to create them, is going to be the most fun for me, and also the most challenging too. This project so far has come up with so many challenges. One from, creating grass and scenery in nighttime scene, and trying to get that right, trying to make it feel like it's nighttime. That has been a challenge, and it's a constant challenge. And also dealing with natural lighting, unnatural lighting and natural lighting, like nighttime lighting and unnatural lighting here with the lights of the night light things. Solar panel lights, that's the one. The solar panel lights there, that's a challenge, like dealing with, if they're there, do they actually feel like they're actually sitting there, kind of a thing. That's always been a challenge. Getting the characters right in different poses, trying to make it feel like the actual character, that's been a challenge in this book so far. But the main thing, it's not like, I can't, it's the old me, a few years back, I would have said no to some of these challenges. It would have been like, well, I can't draw this character in this pose, so therefore I'm going to do something else, But with this, I'm definitely like, nah, I want this character in this pose, and I just go for it. And, it takes a bit of challenging and a bit of redrawing, and sometimes just a bit of just believing that, I can do it sometimes. I can actually create this character in this pose, with some reference and some good under drawings and things like that. I can get there. It's just a bit of encouragement as well. But yeah, a few years back I would have said no to it. I would have been like, I can't actually draw this character in that pose, and backed away from it. And that's that's kind of a newbie thing, but it's definitely a hurdle to get across. You start getting a few years into it, or a few, like maybe some people a few months, or just you start getting really good at it, and it's like, well, you start going for more and more challenges and things like that. But sometimes you gotta start not backing away as well. Definitely when you're starting out, you definitely can shy away a lot, because it's like me with anatomy. I didn't really like anatomy, so I was kind of just like, I don't want to draw anatomy, but I actually fell through, and eventually now I actually quite like drawing humans and anatomy and things. Like recently I've been doing a bit of caricature in my hour of free spare time. I've been doing a bit of character here and there, character studies of like Prince Harry and people in some of these women's magazines that are laying about our lunchtime room office. I'm just kind of drawing from those books, but I got a David Attenborough book out that I'm drawing some of the animals from, which is really awesome. It's just been great to just see like different animals. I'm seeing a few new animals that I don't know much about, so it's really cool. He really, like David Attenborough, he really goes into all his series, goes into like not just common, but sometimes a lot of like really uncommon animals as well. Like one series of his I just watched went over a dog of some kind. I can't remember what it's called. A spotted dog. What you mean? Some people might know what a spotted dog is, but a lot of people are like, okay, what's a spotted dog? It's not really a common animal per se. Like giraffe, rhino, elephant, lion. It's a bit different to have that animal and to actually get a story behind the animal, it's a bit different. It's exactly like, I've heard he had a prairie dog in it. Not a lot of people know what a prairie dog. They probably think it's some sort of dog, but it actually isn't. Prairie dog is like a kind of a rodent. I actually don't know why it's called dog, but it's just interesting to flick through this book and get some, it's got facts and he talks about these animals. So sometimes I read the book, I actually find out a bit about these animals, which is great too, because it's great to, really understand what you are drawing, other than, how it looks sometimes, because it can help you, what does the feeling feel like, like it can help you if you understand, like, what would a hedgehog do, kind of thing. That's a thought that thinks in my head when creating this book, creating this character. What would the hedgehog do in this character? Obviously this is a character of it. Like, I don't think a normal hedgehog would be able to do this pose, because of this is his characters. He's got his own set of rules in this, like, cartoonesque world, kind of, per se. It's not exactly the real world, because the hedgehog wouldn't really be able to do this, but I am basing it off, like, hedgehog and that kind of anatomy, but if I was aiming for something that was going to be more realistically, it would also be boring as well if I went that way. It'd probably just, he'll be lying on the ground, and you wouldn't actually know, like, the photo reference per se, the actual hedgehog wouldn't actually per se tell you what he's thinking of. It wouldn't really make too much sense to the audience if there was just like a rendered final, like, hedgehog just laying there. You wouldn't know that he's thinking. That's why he's got this character and he's got this set of rules. It's trying to tell you what the actual story is saying, and without words. Really, I want the audience to actually look at this image and tell what's going on without the set of words, basically. And that's kind of what we do as illustrators, and creators, is that we want to tell the story without words. You're trying to tell it visually. I see children's books and things that use text and illustration in very different ways. Some rely on, obviously, the text, and others actually don't rely on text. They rely on the actual visuals. And for me, the importance is the visuals. To me, the text, especially for my book, and what I'm going for, is definitely the text is secondary. It's still important though. It tells the story. It basically just polishes the story off. It's like the cherry on top, basically, the text is. That's the way I feel about it. But I mean, you can have a text-heavy book that, illustrations are, the illustrations are the cherry on top, kind of a thing as well. You can have it the other way around. But for me, this book is very, buried in a lot of illustration and less text. And it's enjoyable for kids. I mean, I did a bit of a study on it and things like that, and I feel that, visual imagery is really important for children as much as, text as well. And word association, seeing, kiwi fruit and what it actually is, seeing, what it is when you see it, kind of a thing. That's really important, seeing the kiwi fruit. I don't think there's a lot of books out there based on, kiwi fruit. There's probably a few, but this one will add to that. But yeah, it's a hedgehog who loves kiwi fruit, which is awesome. I've definitely seen another book called Henry the Hedgehog, so that's disappointing for me, so I can't really call him Henry the Hedgehog, this book, unfortunately. I'd like to, but unfortunately I can't really do that. If there's another book called Henry the Hedgehog, it would, it's not exactly stealing it, because I didn't think of Henry the Hedgehog. Well, I thought of Henry the Hedgehog before I saw this book. Like when I started, that was his name. And this is completely different story as far as I know. I don't even read this story. I don't even know what the actual other book is about or anything like that. But it does mean competition as well. You can't really own that name. Henry the Hedgehog, you can't own it unless you're a big enough company. But it's still competition, it's still, there's another book with this name, there's another, same for illustration, there's another illustration with this character, another illustration. It's still competition, but they don't exactly, own that name sometimes. They might do, but I don't think this book would own that name, so, I could use it, but the thing is, I'm thinking is like, there's a bit of competition too. They might look for Henry the Hedgehog on Google or something, and they find these two different books, and then it's like, which one they're going to go for, kind of a thing. And that to me, that's a suitable name for this book so far. But I feel like I could find something that really, says what this story is about a bit more, because for this story, if it was called Henry the Hedgehog, it would pretty much just be about, this is Henry the Hedgehog, it'd be about him and what he likes to do and things, so I kind of want to go a little bit of a different twist to it, whether it's going to be like, Henry the Hedgehog and, the story name or something, or I go a different route and do something kind of like what I did with Junkyard Adventures, make a different name, where it's like, a different story, but I don't fully know what I'm actually going to call the whole book. It's kind of a thing, it creates itself eventually. I did it with my last book, I kind of knew what the name was, but it wasn't till like at least midway or a little bit further on that I actually knew the actual name of the book, or I decided to call it. But yeah, it's definitely interesting seeing this project, and yeah, it's great. Like I mentioned in some of my videos, I don't know if I'm mentioning these ones. I'm actually going to go back and finish like the first couple of pages of this book. But I'm also going to look into doing other stuff as well. Like I might have a break or something from this project, and do another little project for a little bit and then come back to it. I don't know if I'm fully going to do that yet, whether I'm going to completely just finish this project, or if I'm going to just take a little break at the end when I finish page 14, I'm going to take a little break, and then I'll come back and do a little edits to it every now and again, and things like that. Or if I'm going to get to page 14, and then I'm going to go back and do the little edits to each page, add the text in and get it printed, and but it depends on how things go, from here on. It seems to be going quite smoothly, and we'll see how things go. But it's been a long journey so far, and there's still a little tiny bit to go for this project. I don't have as many projects to talk about at the moment. I've only got the one project to talk about. Unfortunately, that's my big project, and I've been talking about this project for the last couple of months since I've been doing it. There's not many other projects on the side, so there's not a lot of projects to talk about at the moment. Yeah, but I used to be doing projects every 2 weeks, month, every month to every 2 weeks, depending on the piece. And this one's just been the last since last October-ish. I think I kind of started it around then. Some of the ideas and the drawing I started around then, and then I started to slowly get it onto the computer and get it up and running, and now I'm just going on to page and page of it, and it's been great. I can't wait to get to the end, but I'm also it's at the dreading stage as well. It's like, oh no, when I'm finished this project, I'm gonna be so sad it's over as well, because I quite enjoy this. I quite enjoy creating these pages and seeing what each page turns out like, and that's quite nice to just enjoy just creating it. You gotta really enjoy what you do. Just keep creating. If you are dreading doing your work, you'll put it off and you'll never do it. And that's unfortunate, because you get nothing done if you dread it. If you're not constantly doing it, if it's something that I just want to do it when I want to do it, it'll never get anywhere. You've got to just keep at it, because it's another there's time management. Obviously, that's an important key factor, and that's a hard thing to get down. You get discouraged when you don't have a lot of time. Say you have 2 or 3 hours a day to do illustration or creating something or drawing. It gets really challenging, but it can push you aside. If you have no time to do something, you just feel it's no time. You've got no time to do this, but in reality you're just pushing it away because of your other things that you want to do, and you can really push for it. If you really want it, you would push for it. It's, for me, I've always considered other things. I've got things going on, and I work around it. If, for instance, I've worked around jobs that were 12 hours for 4 days or something, 3 or 4 days that were really long hours, and I'd work around that. I've still got the weekend to deal with. I've still got I might have 3 days on that were really intensive, but then I'd have 4 days off that were 4 days off, obviously, so I could relax the first day, kind of start painting and things like that, and the other 3 I could really get busy painting. I might have things in those days as well apart from painting, but I still try and consider my time into things I want to do, and other things that happen. For instance, if you want to watch Netflix and chill and all that other stuff, you got to consider that as well. But you know, if it's taking away time from illustration, and that's what you want to do rather than, you know, this Netflix and other stuff, Game of Thrones, probably you're watching that, I don't know, but you know, you've got to really think about it. You know, I'm not saying, you know, give up, you know, watching, you know, your Game of Thrones or whatever. I don't watch it, but you know, all those things you might spend a lot of time on, you don't exactly want to give it up, but maybe you should consider, you know, working around your schedule and how you're going to think about it. You know, it changes for me. At the moment, I'm pretty goodly paced. You know, I've got work from 9 till 6. I got that hour's break that I can do some drawing exercises, practices. If I want to bring a project into work, I can, you know. Not one of these digital ones, unfortunately. I don't have anything portable. But you know, I can bring, you know, if I'm struggling on a page per se to get it on the computer kind of a thing, I could bring it to work and spend an hour just trying to fix it up, get the drawing right on paper, before I actually get it on the computer. So you know, I can bring projects into work if I need to, just for, you know, that half an hour, even if it's just thinking about it. Yeah, and that's another thing, is thinking about it. It gives me time to think about it as well. I can think about it as work, you know, how I'm gonna tackle this page. Yeah, I just think about it sometimes, how to tackle this page and how this page is gonna work. Sometimes, like, it's a struggle, obviously, you know, with some projects, you know, you really want an idea to come to you, and then, you know, it just comes to you in the nick of time, kind of a thing. You know, and with other projects, you've got a great idea to start off with, and that idea stays with you, and it's really great that way. Others, yeah, you got to struggle through it, and eventually you come up with a great idea anyway. Yeah, sometimes it's just believing that you can create that idea. It can really help. Yeah, I've been... How long has it been talking? I've been talking about 37 minutes, so that's been pretty good. Yeah, have I got anything else to add to that? Yeah, so... Yeah, we had some really awesome artists in the last few weeks. Like I said, we had a character artist last week. We had a French artist 2 weeks ago. We've had Angevia, Strix artists, and then we had Evan and Munson. You know, we've had some awesome artists out there. Some are, you know, newer to this kind of field. You know, doing talks and things, haven't done it before, kind of a thing. Like the French guy, he's never done it before, which was really cool. You know, I really like having people that haven't really done this thing before, their story ain't told. So it's great to get, you know, some people's stories that haven't been told. You know, Evan and Munson's been on heaps of, you know, YouTube videos. I don't think I'll ever be able to watch all of them, you know. There's heaps of his videos out there, which is, it's awesome to see. There's got so many, and some are really awesome. Yeah, some are just general, kind of about, you know, how you became an artist and things like that, which is cool to listen to as well. Others are a bit more, you know, to it. For instance, like Bobby Chios, he kind of, you know, chats a bit more about stuff rather than just like, oh, how did you become an artist, and things like that. You know, he kind of talks quite a bit more about stuff. He dives in deep and goes into, likes to break down things, you know, like for instance how you became a freelancer, and then you know what built up to that kind of a thing, and diving in a bit more deeper than when did you start this, and which is really cool to see that, and I feel it's kind of helped me grow as like this YouTuber kind of person, to hear his questions and find out a bit more about these artists from them that he talks to. And for me, I mean, I've always been curious about things, I really like to dive deeper as well. I like to talk about, like, not just general, like, how do you become an artist and how you're successful and things like that, the secret recipe per se. I like to talk, just about a lot of stuff, which is really cool. And I've got a 2 books now. It used to be 1 book. 1 book is filled with a lot of questions, and then I lost that book, and I wrote some more in the next book that I found, and I found my old book. It's really cool to see some of the changes in the questions that I make, and some of the artists that I talk to, and things like that. It's really awesome. So yeah, thank you for joining me on my journey so far. I really appreciate you either checking just this video out, or either checking a couple of my videos out. We're up to page 10. As you can see, this is page 10. It's very exciting. We're getting to the end. But as I said, I dread it as well. Getting to the end means it's going to be almost finished. Yeah, thank you for joining me this week. We'll see you in the next week's video. Hopefully you do enjoy this video and get something out of it. We should be next week with an artist. Not too sure who yet fully, or I can't really announce it yet. I'm not too sure. But yeah, thanks for joining me. Do hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment if you want to just say something about what I've said. Anything, even if it's just a thumbs up, hey, that's a good video, I don't know, something like that. But yeah, awesome. Have a good one. We'll see you in the next one. Keep drawing, keep creating, and see you next time. Bye.